Hey everyone, welcome back to episode 2 of Send Us Flowers. I'm your host, Liz, and some people like to call me Busy. I am so stoked to dive into a super insane episode, everything and anything cannabis social media. First off, you will all never believe who was in my Twitter mentions recently. I also have some really cool products to show you for the In My Bag segment, and some crazy news was just announced today on social media in cannabis with some big names behind a brand new project. I'm ready to get started. I'm ready to start sending some people flowers. So welcome. This is episode 2 and it's going to be a great one. Stick around. For today's episode, I will be sending flowers to Seth Rogen, and you're going to be floored to find out why. Recently, he was in my Twitter mentions for a post that I put up, which I'll get more into soon. But the fact that he responded and actually engaged in this conversation and really brought some attention to this really big issue in cannabis social media is incredible. There are so many big names who just don't even want to touch this topic. They may not even know about it as being an issue. And I really just want to send him flowers and some appreciation for engaging in this. I'd also love to send flowers to the I-71 committee in DC and anyone else who's fighting for I-71 shops. Right now in DC, there is a huge battle for I-71 shops and pursuing legalization in the district. I believe that I-71 shops should have a fair and, equitable path toward licensing. They've been operating in the district for years, and for, shady policymakers to bring a emergency vote to the table to close I-71 shops is not the way to serve the people. It's not the way to serve constituents, and it's certainly not the way to serve businesses who have already been struggling through COVID and economic strife. There's a better way to do this. These businesses need a path to licensing. It needs to be fair, and they've already had established businesses in the district for this long. So let's all make our voices heard. There's different resources for people to utilize. It's my hometown. I'm from the DMV. And so I really do care about what happens there, and seeing these businesses in a place of success and seeing the people who have worked there and built these businesses in a place of success. And it's just not happening. This is not the way to do it. So please, if you are from that area or have any stake there, pay attention, because it's become a big issue, and all the support is needed and necessary. So I am sending flowers your way. This is going to be a big fight, but we got this. We can do it. Now, let's dive into some cool products, and then I'm going to talk about Seth Rogen and the craziness that happened on Twitter recently. All right, before I dive into all of the Seth Rogen Twitter things that happened, I do want to show you all some really cool products I have here. I picked these out especially with the holidays in mind. I'm going to be traveling soon, and with family. I'm sure a lot of you all will be too. So I have some more discreet options, low dose options if you're sharing or, introducing a new family member to cannabis. These are some really good products for you to try. First off, I have these My High stir sticks. If you follow me, I have been talking about My High for a minute. I really love this product, and here's why. I'm a big fan of canna beverages in this space. Oh my God, I could drink canna beverages all day, every day. And they are making it way too easy to do so too. So with a My High, this fixes every single issue I've had, especially with ones that are powdered or like water soluble. So for me, I've noticed that with other packaging, it just like can clump together. There's like, product that gets left behind. And then also when you're like pouring it over a drink, if there's any kind of like precipitation or humidity, the packets get stuck together. And My High, like the product is amazing, but the packaging is really, really functional, which I love. We love design with the consumer in mind. I'm very, very particular about that. And so with My High, there is powder inside and it is water soluble. Just don't use it in like a heated beverage, use it in a cold beverage. And you can either pop the cap off at the bottom or peel the sticker back and stir it in. And then when you're ready to drink, you can pop the cap off and it's a straw. Like, that's so freaking cool. And so the entire packaging gets used. It has a purpose. It works really, really well. And the product itself is incredible. It's a really, really nice feeling. If you're out with friends, this is such a good option. I talk about this a lot, but I haven't had alcohol in almost 2 years now. And all of these different beverage options have really helped me continue that. And this is one that I recommend to every single person. I was literally at a brewery for a friend's birthday just this past weekend, and I brought my Highs with me, and a ton of people were like, "Oh, what's that?" And like, "You just poured in your drink. It's so great." And I was like, "It is so great." So let's test it out. I'll show you how to use it. Also, I am a big sparkling water person. I don't really drink sodas, and sparkling water was a great transition for me for that. This sparkling peach is like so good. So good. So if you're on the hunt for, different flavored sparkling water, this, it's the Mountain Valley white peach. So good. I am obsessed. I get it way too often from Erewhon. So it's also $1 billion. I'm just kidding. It's not $1 billion. It's just $1 million and some change. So I'm going to choose to pop it off. Here, you guys can look. I'll do it for you. So you can pop that off. Boop. And then you just take it, pour it in, tap the top, and then you stir. You'll get some fizzies. Oh no! Don't pour your water too high, or else that will happen. For all my audio listeners, you know the drill. Nothing happened. Just kidding, some stuff happened. We had almost a little bit of overflow, but I saved it. And so then you just pop it off like that, and you have a straw. Super discreet, doesn't have any like aftertaste or anything, so it blends really, really well with almost any beverage. And you can mix it and match it with other consumable cannabis products that are also a beverage. Like, I really love Wonder. I don't know if you guys have tried that yet. I'll definitely have to bring it onto the podcast and show it off, but it is amazing. I have used a My High with it, and the results are really fantastic, I promise you. So we'll sip on this while I show you some other really neat products. These are Tempo crackers. I actually put them on a plate with some dips to try. This is what they look like. They're infused crackers, and they are 5 milligrams of THC and 5 milligrams of CBD per cracker. So really nice dosing. You can have a few, feel really good. You can have a lot and feel really, really, really good. But if you're with friends for, like a Friendsgiving, or with family members who prefer like a lower dose or something, this is a great option for you. And you can pair it with your favorite dips. Over here I have some tomato basil and another I think that's, I don't know what that dip is, but it's delicious. I went to the farmer's market. Oh my God, if I was on Joe Rogan's show, I don't even watch Joe Rogan. I just heard this clip that was like, he was so mean to someone because they started eating on his show, and he was like, everyone complains about chewing on the mic. So I'm sorry. I realized that was probably a loud chew, but these crackers are so good. I love the sour cream and onion. I'm a big herb fan. So anything with like garlic and basil and whatnot, I'm a big fan. So pair this with your favorite dips, guacamole, artichoke dip. That's what this dip is. It's a spinach artichoke. I remembered. So I love these crackers. If you're going to a Friendsgiving or a family Thanksgiving that might be a little more 420 friendly, the Tempo crackers are a really good find. Now, for all my smokers, I know that going home can pose a little bit more of a problem in your consumption. And so for me, when I go home, to be mindful of the smell and the smoke, I use a filter. This works with your vapes, this works with your dabs, this even works with your bong rips. It will work with your joints, but honestly, those are pretty stinky, so maybe keep those outside, for a little walk before or after dinner, maybe even during if you really feel in the mood and think you can get away with it. But so, I'll show you how this works. This really helps, diminish the smells and smoke around you. So for all my audio listeners, I'm going to take a puff from my Jetty. This is the Jetty solventless vape I showed you all last time. I really love this. So I'm using it again. Great excuse. And let's take a puff. And you guys shouldn't see really any smoke. You want to exhale slowly with this and make sure that the silicone is on correctly. Just so that, it keeps it all in the filter. So let's go. No smoke. Okay, for all my audio listeners only. For all my only audio listeners. Oh man, I took kind of a big rip. There was no smoke. Nothing came out. It's great. It really helps hide the smell. Make sure that you can smoke in the house without getting any smoke in the house. I love it. All right, before we dive into all the Seth Rogen Twitter stuff, I have one last thing to show you. It's this AirGraft vaporizer. I love this. It is super discreet. It doesn't burn, so it means it won't burn the back of your throat, and it also doesn't have a whole lot of smell. Now, these pods are a little different. Take a look at that for all my people viewing. It's for my audio listeners. It's not like a 510 cart. They're little pods and you stick them in. They're magnetic, and then you're gonna pull. That hit really nicely. Now, what's cool about AirGraft is that you can control it from your phone, and it also has vibrator things that vibrate and let you know how much of a dose you took. It also gives you an entire profile on what you're smoking. So it's a really great device. They also have a membership, so it makes it all very affordable. You can re-up monthly and, even sooner than that if you need. And it's just a good product by good people, so I highly recommend it, and it's super discreet for you to bring home. Now, what is going on Twitter? So look, here's what happened. I'm on Instagram going through stories, and I see that Seth Rogen has shared a post of someone else's story with his product in it. And he captions above it, "I sell weed, period." And I was like, yeah, he does. But then I was also like, yeah, he does. Background story. I worked for a smoking supply company for many years, and I continued to work in the cannabis industry, doing social media consulting, doing my own content, and I've worked with influencers, brands. There are a wealth of people who are completely censored from showing product like that and saying that they openly sell weed on Instagram. Just recently, Instagram took down tons of accounts, even ones that were verified, which is pretty crazy. I know that they've done that like very, very sparingly in the past, but usually there's, it's a big celebrity. They have account managers, they have, contacts at Instagram. They're able to go through other measures that a lot of people don't have access to get their accounts back. So once your account goes down in cannabis, it can stay down forever. I know people who still haven't gotten accounts back. I know people who get deleted on a weekly basis. I know people who are on their 50th Instagram account or something, and it just becomes this game of, all right, when will it go down? And so I've seen just so many people be affected by this issue, and there just aren't super clear guidelines or an even means of enforcement. So when I saw that, I was surprised. And so I wanted to honestly talk about it, because we've seen a lot of different names come into the space, like Justin Bieber too. And I'm not the only one who questions this. I've seen a lot of other people, feel a certain way. And there's a ton of different opinions on this. I've seen a bunch of different takes, but it is very blatant that the enforcement is just not the same across the board, which we all know and we all can see. And so when I posted this, I thought it was a very tasteful tweet, honestly, and I wanted to hear other people's opinions and their stories. And I walk away, I come back to my phone, and there's these insane amounts of notifications. One of them is from Seth Rogen, who responded to my tweet. Holy shit. I even got DMs from people saying, "Oh my God, go look at Twitter." And Seth Rogen responded to you. I looked, and a bunch of people had actually tagged him, and he weighed in. And other people shared so many of their own stories for what they shared and how they've gotten deleted, that their page is still down. It's crazy, and it affects a ton of different people. And like, on one hand, you see people posting ads on Instagram for CBD, and on the other hand, you have people just posting CBD on their page, and they're taken down in a second. And so I think that does invite some kind of discussion, and it clearly created one. So at the end of the day, I'm really glad that this issue is being talked about more, because from this, I realized a few different things. One, not a ton of people know about this, who are just like average consumers and average social media users. Not that they would ever need to really know about this, but it does affect some of their favorite brands or content creators. And when a page goes down, and I've talked about this a lot too, when a page goes down, how do you reach that person if you're not elsewhere? And if you don't have that prior warning to move people over, it's just, that's it, gone. And so for me, I realized that not a lot of people knew about that and were saying like, oh, I didn't realize that like that's, people would be deleted and stuff. And so I think bringing that issue to light is really important. And then I think having someone who is of Seth Rogen's status weighing in on that is so important. And there were like a bunch of trolls and stuff, but I thought that it was really incredible the amount of people who came out and were like, this is something that needs to be highlighted, especially if we're moving forward into some kind of new wave of federal whatever. What are these platforms going to do? How are they going to enforce guidelines? What are going to be the guidelines? What are people going to be able to advertise, not advertise? Especially if it is legal on a federal level, those things are going to need to be addressed. So I posed that question essentially, and again, the responses are really, really amazing, and I just appreciate everyone else who also weighed in on that too. So thank you for all joining in on that. Hopefully, we'll see progress there in some way, shape, or form. Speaking of posting cannabis on social media, Burner and Weedmaps had a massive announcement today that they are both working on a social platform together where you can safely post about cannabis. Now, this is not the first time either of them have ventured into a project like this. Burner had Social Club previously, and him and Weedmaps actually have been working on projects like this for years. So I am really, really excited to see how this turns out. I bet the user experience is going to be amazing. I can't wait to be able to test that. And let me know if you do too. I would love to hear about your experience on this app, and let me know if there's any others that I should check out. I know the WeedTube is awesome. I love that there's more of these niche communities for other cannabis creators and consumers to come together for entertainment, education, anything and everything in between. So please leave me some new recommendations because I'm always down to explore. Thank you everyone for joining me on episode 2 of Send Us Flowers. I am so excited to be here, so excited that you're here. And if there's anyone that you would like me to send flowers to on episode 3, please tell me on Instagram or Twitter. You can tag me, DM me, however you'd like to do it. But I'd love to send someone flowers, especially for the holidays. And, go grab yourself some Stony products to share for the family or for yourself. And I hope you all have a wonderful holiday. Thanks for joining, everyone, and I'll see you next week.